again, children, and welcome to Storytime. This time we have a story about a baby who was very small and very weak. But one day he ate something that turned him into Super Baby. Let's look at the book and see what happens. Avocado Baby by John Birmingham. Mr. and Mrs. Hargraves and their 2 children were not very strong. Mrs. Hargraves was expecting another baby, and they all hoped it would not be as weak as they were. The new baby was born, and all the family were very pleased. Mr. and Mrs. Hargraves brought the baby home, and it grew, but as they feared, it did not grow strong. Mrs. Hargraves found feeding the baby very difficult. It did not like food, want to eat much. "Whatever can I do?" wailed Mrs. Hargraves. "The baby doesn't like eating anything I make, and it looks so weak." "Why don't you give it that avocado pear?" asked the children. In the fruit bowl on the table, there was an avocado pear. Nobody knew how it had got there, because the Hargraves never bought avocados. Mrs. Hargraves cut the pear in half, mashed it, and gave it to the baby, who ate it all up. From that day on, amazing things happened. The baby became very strong. It was getting so strong, it could break out from the straps on its high chair, pull the other children uphill in a cart, wrench off the side of its cot. And each day, Mrs. Hargraves gave the baby avocado pear. One night, a burglar got into the house. The baby woke up and heard the burglar moving about downstairs. The baby picked up a broom and chased the burglar. The burglar was so frightened at being chased by a baby that he dropped his bag and ran out of the house. The next day, Mr. Hargraves put a notice on the gate. "That should keep the burglars away," he said. Can you see what that notice says? Beware of the baby. The baby would help carry the shopping, move the furniture, and push the car when it would not start. One day, 2 bullies were waiting for the children in the park. The bullies started being very nasty to the children. The baby did not like that and jumped out of its pushchair. He picked up the bullies and splash threw them into the pond. The baby gets stronger every day, and of course, it is still eating avocado pears. The end. So you know what I found interesting about this story, children? Is that the avocado pear was in the fruit bowl. This is a clue to tell you that even though we might think avocado pear is a vegetable, it is actually a fruit. The clue is in the word pear. And they had never eaten avocado pear before that day. So how in the world did it get into the bowl? I also want you to think of that sign that Mr. Hargraves put on the gate. Beware of the baby. What does a sign like that usually say when you see it on the gate? Beware of the? You tell me. And the last thing, don't you think it was incredible that the baby beat the bullies? It shows you that you don't always have to be huge and threatening to succeed. Thank you for listening to that story, and I'll see you soon.